I glanced at the calendar and felt a knot tighten in my stomach. 3 days until Christmas. 3 days I was supposed to spend with my mom and stepdad. Instead, the house felt colder than the December wind outside. "Alex, can you grab the boxes from the garage?" My mom called from the kitchen. I obeyed, moving slowly. Richard appeared at the doorway, arms crossed, face twisted in that familiar scowl. "Still sitting around like a loser?" he snapped. "Do you ever do anything useful?" I froze. You what? You're pathetic, Alex. Always dreaming, never achieving." I opened my mouth, but my mom's sigh stopped me. She looked at me with pity, not defense. "Richard, please, not now," she murmured. "Not now," he barked. "It's always not now with her." He stepped closer, towering over me. "I've had enough. I can't stand looking at a failure in my own house, especially at Christmas." I felt my chest tighten. "I've been trying." "Trying isn't enough," he roared. "Get out. Now, before I lose my patience completely." "Richard, please," Mom's voice trembled. "He's your stepson?" "Stepson or not, he's a burden," he spat. "I don't care about your feelings. I don't care about Christmas. I'm done." My hand shook. "You can't do this. It's Christmas week. Watch me." He shoved a coat into my arms. "Here, take this. And don't come back until you've fixed yourself, or maybe never." I stumbled into the cold night, the snow biting through my thin jacket. I heard Mom's soft cries behind the door, but I couldn't turn back. Not now. I walked aimlessly, my thoughts spinning. How could he treat me like this? I thought we were a family. I thought Mom cared enough to stop him. But she hadn't. She never had. I shivered, rubbing my hands together. The streets were empty, the Christmas lights mocking me from every corner. I hugged my coat tighter, hating the cold, hating Richard, hating the helplessness clawing at me. Then I heard a familiar voice. "Alex." I looked up and saw Mark leaning against a lamppost, scarf wrapped around his neck. "Mark." "I don't know what to do," I admitted. He pushed off the post and approached me slowly. "I heard what happened. He kicked you out." I nodded, bitterness twisting my stomach. Just like that. Like I'm nothing. Mark frowned. "I'm sorry, man. I knew he was a jerk, but this..." He shook his head. "You can't let him win. You're smarter than this small town, Alex. You've got brains, guts. You just need a chance." "A chance?" I laughed bitterly. "What chance do I have? I have nowhere to go, no money, no support. I'm just nothing." "Don't say that," Mark said firmly. "I've got some contacts in the city. Jobs, internships, maybe more. You could leave this place behind and actually build something of yourself." I looked at him, hope flickering like a candle in the wind. "You really think I can?" "I don't think." "I know. But you have to want it." "Really want it?" he said, his eyes sharp. "Right now, you're frozen in this moment of betrayal. That's exactly what he wants. Don't give him that satisfaction." I swallowed hard, the anger inside me mixing with a strange determination. Richard had humiliated me, broken me, tried to erase me. But maybe this was the push I needed. I'll do it," I whispered, voice trembling. "I'll leave this town. I'll work. I'll come back, and I'll take control. Everything he took from me, I'll get it back." Mark clapped a hand on my shoulder. "That's the spirit. First step, survive tonight. Next step, rebuild. And Alex." I looked at him. "Don't forget who you are." I nodded, staring at the dark streets ahead. For the first time, I felt the cold less as fear and more as fuel. This was the beginning. The betrayal had burned me, but it had also lit something I never knew existed. A fire I wouldn't let die. I took a deep breath. I was alone, but I wasn't defeated. Not yet. I walked the streets, the snow crunching under my shoes, and shivered. The city lights mocked me, bright and warm, while I had nothing. No home, no family, no Christmas. "Hey, you need some change?" I asked a passerby, holding out my hand. The man glanced at me, then walked on without a word. "Figures," I muttered. My stomach growled, reminding me I hadn't eaten all day. I ducked into a dark alley, hugging my coat around me. The cold pierced every layer. I rubbed my arms, trying to warm myself, but it was useless. I could feel Richard's words echoing. Pathetic, worthless, loser. "Don't think about them," I whispered to myself. "Just survive tonight." A voice called from behind. "Alex." I spun around. Mark leaned against the brick wall, hands in his pockets. "Mark." "Don't get discouraged," he said. "I knew it would be hard, but I didn't think it would hit you this fast." "Hit me?" I laughed bitterly. "I feel dead. My mom, she just watched. She didn't stop him. She didn't care. She's scared, Alex. That's all. Doesn't make it right, I know. I sank against the wall. Scared? She's my mom. How can she watch him destroy me? I don't know, Mark admitted. Some people, they're weak when they should be strong. But that doesn't define you. I let out a bitter laugh. Define me? Look at me, Mark. I'm sleeping in alleys, begging for food, shivering in the snow. How am I supposed to be anything? Listen, Mark said, crouching to meet my eyes. You're stronger than you realize. You just need a way out. I know people in the city, jobs, internships, maybe more. You could start over. Build something real. I stared at him. Start over? After everything? I don't even have $1 to my name. You have grit, he said firmly. And brains. You just need the chance. But you have to want it. Really want it. I do, I whispered. I want to prove him wrong. I want revenge. Not just for today, but for years of being nothing in their eyes. Mark nodded. Good. That's the fire you need. Keep it burning, Alex. Don't let him extinguish it. We parted after a few more minutes, and I wandered deeper into the streets, stomach growling, mind spinning. I didn't know where I'd sleep tonight. I didn't know how I'd eat tomorrow. But I had a fire now, a reason. Hours later, hunger forced me into a small diner. The lights were warm, the smell of food overwhelming. A woman behind the counter approached. You look cold, honey. Sit down. You can't be wandering outside like that. I don't have money, I mumbled. Don't worry about that, she said with a soft smile. I've got extra soup. Sit. I hesitated, then followed her to a booth. She brought a bowl of steaming soup and a slice of bread. Here, she said. You need strength. Thank you, I said, my voice catching. The warmth seeped into me more than the food. I've been kicked out. Christmas, everything. She nodded, her eyes kind. I know it's hard. Life can be cruel. But sometimes it gives you a push to find your own way. You'll be okay. Just keep moving forward. I swallowed, the tears threatening. I will. I have to. I can't stay like this. I'll make them regret ever treating me like nothing. Especially him. Don't let hate blind you, she said gently. Use it as fuel, not poison. You'll see the difference. Her words stuck. I finished my meal, feeling the warmth in my body and my chest. For the first time in days, I felt hope. Clara, I learned her name was Clara, was just a stranger, but her kindness reminded me there was still good in the world, still a way to rebuild. I stepped back into the cold, snow crunching under my shoes again. Hunger, fear, betrayal, they were still there. But something else had joined them. Fire. Anger, yes, but also determination. I would survive tonight. I would leave this town. I would come back stronger. Mark was right. I couldn't stay a victim forever. The streets were harsh, but they would forge me. I clenched my fist. Richard had taken my home, humiliated me, left me for nothing. But I would rise. I would take everything he thought he owned. I whispered into the night, I'll come back. I'll make sure you regret every word, every shove, every lie. And in that bitter cold, with the city sleeping around me, I felt the first spark of what would become my fire. I left the city streets behind, dragging my bag and my anger with me. Mark had helped me get a cheap room in a boarding house, and that night I made a vow. No more excuses. No more surviving. It's time to rebuild. You sure about this? Mark asked over the phone the next morning. It won't be easy, Alex. You'll have to work harder than you ever have. I'm sure, I said, gripping the receiver. I've been weak long enough. I want more real power, real control. I won't be the boy Richard humiliated ever again. You'll need focus, Mark warned. Cut off distractions. Forget toxic people. Every minute you waste is a minute wasted. I know, I said firmly. Starting today I focus on me. Nothing else. The days blurred together. I worked odd jobs. Dishwashing, deliveries, cleaning offices. Exhaustion became normal, but I reminded myself every night. This pain is fuel. Every blister, every aching muscle is pushing me forward. One evening I called Mark. I can barely keep up. I'm tired, and some days I feel like I'm going nowhere. Good, he said almost sharply. Feeling tired means you're growing. Feeling like you're going nowhere? That's where the fire sparks. You're reshaping yourself. Don't quit now. I don't know if I have the energy, I admitted. You do, he insisted. I've seen you before. You're stronger than you give yourself credit for. But it's not just physical. You have to learn too. Business, strategy, negotiation. Read, watch, listen. Every bit counts. So I did. Nights that should have been for rest became study sessions. I absorbed business strategies, financial advice, and human behavior. Mark coached me, pushing me through simulations, questioning every decision I made. "Why did you choose that approach?" he asked one night. "Because it felt right?" I muttered. "Wrong," he snapped gently. "Right doesn't matter. Results do. Think logically. Anticipate moves, predict outcomes, control variables. Emotion is for the weak. Channel it into drive, into action." I nodded, frustration burning. "I'll do it, Mark. I'll learn it all." "You better," he said. "When you return, people won't recognize the boy who got kicked out. They'll see a man in control." I ran every morning, lifting weights in the small gym near my room. My body began to harden, my stamina growing. Pain became routine. Fatigue became a companion. The reflection in the mirror slowly shifted. I could see a new Alex emerging. "I feel different," I said to myself one morning, wiping sweat from my brow. "I'm not the scared kid anymore. I'm capable." Mark's voice echoed in my head. "Capable, yes, but never satisfied. You're building an empire in your mind first. Don't let it crumble with doubt." Social skills were harder. I studied human interaction, watched people in cafes, practiced speaking to strangers, learned charm and persuasion. Every conversation was a lesson. "I don't like small talk," I muttered to Mark one afternoon. "You have to learn it," he replied. "People trust what they can understand. Be relatable. Then you can lead. Then you can strike." Strike. The word tasted sweet. Revenge had not left my mind. It fueled my training, my studies, my every waking hour. I imagined Richard's face when he realized who I had become. "Don't obsess over him," Mark warned during one call. "Obsession weakens. Focus on building yourself first. Revenge comes naturally when you're ready." "I can wait," I said. "I've been patient this long. I'll wait longer if I have to. But I will take everything back." Months passed. My savings grew, my body transformed, my mind sharpened. I had cut off toxic connections from my past. I didn't answer calls from old friends who mocked me, didn't visit the streets where I once slept. The past became a lesson, not a prison. One night, I looked at my reflection in the mirror again. I'm not Alex the loser. I'm Alex, the man who will return and take what's mine. Every insult, every shove, every word of betrayal, it all built me. Mark called. "You're ready. Soon you'll step back into that town and nothing will stop you. Remember, control the narrative, control the outcome. You're not just coming back, you're reclaiming." "I understand," I said, a cold fire burning in my chest. "I'll make sure they remember me. Richard, Lisa, everyone, they'll see a different Alex. A man they can't ignore, can't break." "You've changed," Mark said quietly. "Not just stronger, smarter, better. Keep that edge. Never let it dull." "I won't," I promised. As I hung up, I touched the mirror, staring at the reflection. The boy who had been thrown out, humiliated, abandoned, was gone. In his place stood someone who had endured, learned, and grown. Someone who would return, not broken, but unshakable. And I swore silently to the empty room, I'm coming back, stronger than ever. And this time, nothing will be left for them to take. I stepped off the bus and breathed in the familiar cold air of my hometown. 2 years had passed, but everything looked smaller now, weaker somehow. I adjusted my coat and checked my reflection in a shop window. No trace of the boy Richard had humiliated. This was Alex reborn. Confident, sharp, in control. A familiar voice broke my thoughts. Well, look who it is." I turned and saw Ethan, leaning against his car, smirking. "Ethan," I said, forcing casual warmth. "Don't tell me it's really you," he laughed, eyes narrowing. "Last I remember, you were a total loser." "I've changed," I said simply, letting the smile linger. "Changed, huh?" He studied me. "Looks like you've done something right. Maybe even smart enough to survive here. But don't think it makes a difference. Some people never escape their place." "I think it depends on the effort," I said, shrugging. "Some of us work while others wait for luck." He laughed nervously, glancing down the street. "You always had a smart mouth. Still, I can see you've got presence now." I nodded, letting him stew in uncertainty. He didn't know yet how much had changed. Later, I entered one of Richard's businesses, a local investment firm. I introduced myself as Alex Warren, a potential investor interested in local opportunities. Richard was behind the desk, arrogant as ever, tapping his pen. "Can I help you?" he asked without looking up. "Mr. Richard?" I began, shaking his hand firmly. "I'm Alex Warren. I'm interested in acquiring some stakes in your local projects." His eyes flicked up at me, puzzled. You don't look familiar. Are you from this city? Yes, sir. Been investing in several emerging markets. Heard your firm was doing well locally. Thought I'd see if there's a mutual interest, I said smoothly. Richard's gaze lingered, sizing me up. Well, we're always open to partnerships. You'll need to meet my associates. I'd be happy to, I said, concealing the thrill in my chest. This was the first real step. He had no idea he was being observed by the very person he once crushed. A few minutes later, a man joined him, and I realized it was Ethan again. He blinked in surprise and muttered, "You're really here?" "I am," I said lightly. "Seems we're both exploring opportunities." Ethan's jaw tightened. "Funny. I didn't think you'd have the guts to return." I shrugged. It wasn't guts. Just preparation. Richard and I discussed potential investments, and I listened, letting him believe I was simply a wealthy outsider. I asked questions, offered ideas, and slowly planted subtle doubts about the stability of his ventures. "You've been expanding fast," I said, watching him closely. "Some of these acquisitions, risky. Are you sure they'll hold?" Richard waved a hand dismissively. "I've been doing this for years. I know what I'm doing." "I'm sure you do," I replied, smiling faintly. "But even the experience can overlook small cracks. I just want to understand the details." As we talked, Ethan shifted uncomfortably, clearly unsettled. He whispered something to Richard, who waved him off, but I saw the tension growing. It felt satisfying. After the meeting, I walked outside with Mark on the phone. "They bought it?" I whispered. "Hook, line, and sinker," Mark said. "You played the perfect investor. Let them underestimate you, then strike when it counts." "I can feel it," I said, looking back at the firm. "Richard's empire, it's wobbling already. They don't even know I'm the same Alex they humiliated." "Patience," Mark reminded me. "You're not just here for revenge. You're here to reclaim everything. That takes strategy, not anger." "I know," I said. "But it feels good, Mark." Seeing him confused, watching Ethan squirm. "I've never felt anything like this." "Good. Let that drive you, but don't lose focus," he warned. I ended the call and walked through the streets, observing familiar shops, familiar faces. Some glanced at me curiously, others coldly. But no one knew the story behind the new Alex. Not yet. I found myself outside my old home, hesitating. Lisa's curtains were drawn. I could imagine her watching, recognizing maybe not. The thought made my chest tighten, but not in fear, in quiet satisfaction. She had let him humiliate me, and now I was here, invisible yet poised to reclaim what was mine. I whispered to myself, "Step 1 complete. They don't know it yet, but I've returned." The cold wind blew and I felt it on my skin, not like it used to when I shivered outside. This time it felt like a herald. My return had begun. And I smiled, knowing the next moves were mine to make. I sat in the cafe across from one of Richard's associates, a nervous man named Greg. I smiled, leaning forward. "Greg, you know I'm here because I see potential in your ventures. But have you considered the risks? Some decisions, they're shaky." Greg frowned. I don't think Richard would approve if I questioned him." "Exactly," I said lightly. "That's why I'm offering guidance. You need someone who sees things differently, objectively. Someone who isn't blinded by ego." He hesitated, then nodded. "I guess that makes sense. I don't want to fail." "Failure is worse when you ignore the warning signs," I replied. "Trust me, I've been burned by ignoring red flags." Later I met Clara in a boutique office. "Alex," she said, smiling warmly. "I didn't expect to see you back so soon." "Clara," I said, standing. "You look different, powerful." "I've been busy," she said. "Climbed a few rungs." "I see you haven't wasted your time either." "I've been preparing," I said. "And I could use someone I trust. Someone sharp like you." "I'm in," she said without hesitation. "Just tell me what you need." We spent hours strategizing, dissecting Richard's empire. "He's sloppy with finances," Clara said, "and ego-driven. His associates are afraid to challenge him openly." "Perfect," I said quietly. "That fear is our tool. We don't need to confront him directly. We just let him slip and the cracks will widen themselves." The next day, I attended another business luncheon. Richard spotted me entering, his brow furrowing. "You again?" he said, suspicion lacing his voice. I smiled innocently. "Just checking on local investment opportunities, Richard. I didn't expect to run into you." He narrowed his eyes. "I've been hearing things, stories." "Oh." I tilted my head. I hope nothing concerning. I wouldn't want to cause misunderstandings. He grunted, dismissing me for the moment. I knew the seed of doubt had been planted. Later, Ethan joined me at a small bistro. "You're everywhere," he muttered, irritation thinly veiled. "How are you always in the loop?" "Luck," I said lightly, stirring my coffee. "And maybe paying attention. The details matter, Ethan." "You're dangerous," he said, shaking his head. "I prefer careful," I said. "Danger is reckless." "I'm focused." Clara called later that evening. "Alex, I've spoken to a few associates. They're willing to share information now that Richard's reputation is wobbling. We can move faster." "Good," I said, pacing. "Every mistake he makes, every slip, I want documented. Karma is working, but I need it to be precise." "You're enjoying this," she teased. "I am," I admitted. "But it's complicated. Part of me wonders, am I becoming what I despised?" "You're reclaiming what was taken," she said firmly. "There's a difference. Keep your eyes on the goal, not the guilt." I hung up and leaned back, thinking of my mother. Lisa, fragile and regretful, never stood up when Richard humiliated me. Watching him now, powerless in small ways, I felt both satisfaction and sorrow. The anger that fueled me was growing, but so was reflection. I returned to another meeting with Greg, carefully offering advice on negotiations. "Remember, you don't have to follow blindly," I said. "Consider the consequences of every choice." He nodded, hesitating, then whispered, "I wish I had someone like you before." "That's why I'm here now," I said. Better late than never. As I left the cafe, I felt a strange mix, power and unease. Every move I made weakened Richard, but I couldn't ignore the shadow of manipulation creeping into my own mind. Revenge was sweet, but I had to balance it with strategy or it could consume me. Clara caught up with me outside. "Feeling the weight yet?" she asked. "Every step," I admitted. "But it's necessary." He humiliated me, abandoned responsibility. Now it's his turn to face consequences. She smiled. "Then we move carefully. One step at a time." I nodded. The city streets stretched before me, quiet now but full of opportunity. Richard's arrogance had blinded him, his empire teetering, and I was the unseen hand guiding the fall. And I realized, with both satisfaction and unease, that my return was no longer just about surviving. It was about reclaiming everything. I entered the conference room, suit pressed, tie straight, confidence radiating. Richard sat at the head of the table, a smug smile on his face. "You again?" he said, voice dripping with irritation. "Richard," I said smoothly, extending a hand. "Good to see you. I've been following your projects closely. Impressive work, though I have a few suggestions." His eyes narrowed. "I don't recognize you. You're new in town?" "Yes, I've been abroad for a while," I said, masking the smirk I could barely contain. "I thought I'd bring a fresh perspective to your investments." Richard leaned back. "Fresh perspective, huh? And you think you know more than me?" "I don't think," I replied calmly. "I analyze. And I noticed some risks in your recent acquisitions. For example, the Parkside property, your projected ROI seems overly optimistic. Have you considered the legal liabilities?" He frowned, exchanging a quick glance with Ethan, who sat to the side, stiff and uneasy. "That's speculative." "Perhaps," I said lightly. "But even a small oversight can cost millions. I'm here to ensure that doesn't happen." Richard's jaw tightened. "You've done your homework, I'll give you that." I smiled faintly. "Thank you. But I also know something else about you, Richard." He blinked. "Oh? And what's that?" I leaned in slightly, letting my tone carry just enough weight. "I know the boy you kicked out before Christmas. The one you humiliated in front of his mother. He's sitting across from you now." Richard froze. His face went pale, lips parting. "Alex?" "Yes," I said, letting the word linger in the air. "You remember me now, don't you? The same boy you dismissed, the same boy you thought was nothing." Ethan's eyes widened. That's Alex?" "Yes," I said, letting the subtle satisfaction ripple through me. "And now I'm not just Alex. I'm an investor, a strategist, and someone who knows exactly how to reclaim what's been taken." Richard leaned forward, voice trembling. I didn't recognize you. You've changed." "I have," I admitted. "And I intend to make sure you feel the consequences of underestimating me. Your empire, it's impressive but fragile. And I can help you, or I can show you just how fragile it is." Richard's hands clenched the table. You're bluffing." "I'm not bluffing," I said, calmly outlining several business maneuvers. By redirecting partnerships, leveraging debts, and reallocating shares, I can secure control of properties you've taken for granted. It's simple strategy, really? Ethan shifted in his seat, his earlier confidence crumbling. Wait, you're serious? He could really? Yes, I said softly. And it doesn't require aggression, just precision. Every misstep you've made is an opportunity. Every arrogance-driven choice leaves a window open. Richard's face turned red with anger and humiliation. I could see the slow realization. The boy he once crushed is now orchestrating his undoing. Lisa entered quietly, standing near the doorway. Her eyes widened, fixed on me. She opened her mouth, then closed it, silent guilt etched into her features. I caught her gaze for a brief moment, seeing the regret she never voiced when Richard hurt me. I don't know what to say, she whispered. You don't need to, I replied softly. Just watch. Watch how the tables turn when someone you dismissed learns to play the game. Richard slammed a fist onto the table. You'll regret this, Alex. You'll see. I interrupted him, voice calm but cutting. No, Richard. You'll regret underestimating me. But not in anger. In realization. In watching your authority crumble quietly, efficiently, inevitably. Ethan's shoulders sagged. I didn't expect this. I thought he was still the same kid. Kids don't survive the cold streets and betrayals like I did, I said, a bitter smile forming. They break. I didn't. And now I've learned, I've grown, and I've returned. Richard's eyes glistened with anger and disbelief. Alex, how? I told you before, I said, leaning back, letting him stew in the humiliation. I'm not here for words. I'm here for results. And the first result is making sure you understand that the boy you discarded has become the man who will take back everything you thought you owned. The room went silent, heavy with tension. Ethan avoided Richard's gaze. Lisa's hands trembled slightly. I smiled faintly to myself. The confrontation was over. For now, I held the power and they knew it. And in that quiet moment, I realized revenge was only part of this. Triumph was sweeter when it was measured, calculated, and precise. I watched from my office as the news reports lit up Richard's failures like fireworks. His empire, once untouchable, was crumbling. Shareholders were pulling out, associates were jumping ship, and every mistake I had quietly exploited was now magnified for the world to see. Alex, they're reporting your name alongside some of these acquisitions, Clara said softly, leaning over my desk. Her presence was calm, grounding me. I don't need recognition, I said, sipping my coffee. I need results. Richard's downfall doesn't require applause. It requires precision. She nodded. Still, it's satisfying, isn't it? I won't lie, I admitted. It's satisfying. But it's not complete. There's a cost to this. Years of pain, sleepless nights, constant paranoia. It hasn't left me unscarred. The phone rang. I glanced at it. Lisa. My mother. I hesitated, then answered. Hello. Alex, please, can we meet? Her voice was shaky, thin. I know I was wrong. I didn't protect you. I didn't stand up. I want to apologize. I let a long silence hang. My chest tightened, memories of every humiliation and sleepless night flashing before me. Lisa, I said finally, it's a little late, don't you think? I know, she whispered, tears audible. But I'm begging you. Please, forgive me. I was weak. I was scared. But I love you, Alex. I always have. I remember the past, I said evenly. I remember the nights I was out in the cold, the words he spat at me, your silence. Love doesn't excuse absence, Mom. You watched while I suffered. I know, she sobbed. I know. I can't take back what I did, but I want to be part of your life again. Please. I need time, I said, my voice flat. Maybe one day. But right now, I'm focused on finishing this. On myself. We hung up. I exhaled, feeling the familiar sting of guilt mixed with cold satisfaction. Clara placed a hand on my shoulder. You're doing what you need to do. That's enough for now. I nodded. He underestimated me, all of them. And now, Ethan too. He thought he could ride Richard's coattails, never imagining he'd be on the losing side. I called Ethan, letting him stew before he picked up. Alex, what do you want? His voice was tight, defensive. I want you to realize something, I said softly. Loyalty is earned, Ethan. Not bought or assumed. Richard didn't deserve yours. And now you see why. His voice faltered. I was wrong. I didn't know. I thought I was supporting the right man. You supported arrogance, I said plainly. Blind trust in someone who treats people like tools. Look around you. Who's left? Who can you trust now? Silence followed. Then he whispered, I see that now. You've changed everything. Yes, I said, letting the word hang like a weight. Everything. And it's not just about revenge. It's about reclaiming what's mine and showing the world the consequences of ignoring people, of underestimating them. The next few weeks were a blur of strategy and observation. Richard flailed publicly, attempting desperate deals, but no one supported him. I quietly acquired his properties, restructured his ventures, and solidified my position. Each move was meticulous, a checkmate building slowly. One evening, I watched him stumble through a press conference. His face was red, pride crumbled into desperation. The once imposing man now looked small, diminished. Ethan's glare met mine from across the room, envy and regret etched deep. I never imagined, Ethan muttered under his breath. Clara stood beside me. Do you feel triumphant? Yes, I admitted. But it's bittersweet. I've won, but the victory isn't clean. Revenge has a taste, but it leaves scars. The years of being powerless, the nights of fear, they linger. And seeing my mother broken, it's a reminder of what it cost me to reach this point. You're stronger for it, she said softly. Not just because you succeeded, but because you survived. Your power comes from growth, Alex, not just punishment. I nodded, staring at the skyline. You're right. All of this, it's not just about him. It's about me. About becoming someone who can't be broken. Richard's empire officially collapsed that week. Associates who once flattered him now whispered about mismanagement, greed, and arrogance. His name became a cautionary tale, a warning to anyone who mistreated others. I met Lisa once more, seeing the grief in her eyes. Alex, I see now. You've become everything I should have protected. I've become me, I said. Not the scared boy you watched suffer. That Alex is gone. I won't forget, but I've moved forward. You can be part of my life again if you earn it. Slowly. She nodded, tearful but understanding. I will. I'll try. And as I walked away, Clara at my side, I felt the weight of everything lift slightly. Revenge was complete, karma had played its role, and I held control. But the memories of betrayal and humiliation remained. They would always be a part of me. I whispered to no one in particular, I've reclaimed what was mine. But the scars remind me why I fought and why I'll never let myself be powerless again. Clara squeezed my hand. And that's the real victory. I smiled faintly, eyes hardened but focused. Yes, the real victory. I walked up the familiar driveway, the snow crunching beneath my polished shoes. The house looked the same, yet somehow smaller, diminished, like Richard himself. I paused, straightening my coat, and let the moment settle. This was the final step. I wasn't coming to gloat. I was coming to show power, the quiet, undeniable kind. Alex. Lisa's voice trembled from the doorway. She looked older, frail, guilt etched in every line. I didn't expect. Hello, Mom, I said evenly, meeting her eyes. It's been a long time. She swallowed, nodding. I know. I see now. You've changed. I have, I admitted. But I didn't come here for approval or affection. I came to show you, and him, what happens when people underestimate someone for years. Richard emerged from the living room, eyes widening, mouth opening and closing like he had no words. Alex, how? I smiled faintly. Yes, Richard. It's me. The boy you kicked out before Christmas. The one you humiliated in front of your family. The one you thought would stay broken. He swallowed hard, blinking rapidly. I don't understand. You've taken over everything. Yes, I said, voice calm but firm. Your company, your investments, even this house. Every piece of what you thought you owned is now mine. Not because I wanted revenge, though that was part of the motivation, but because I refused to stay powerless. Richard's face twisted, a mix of shock, humiliation, and disbelief. But how? Preparation, I said simply. 2 years of learning, working, strategizing. Every mistake you made, every crack in your empire, I observed. I waited. And now I reclaimed what was mine. And you're left with lessons to learn the hard way. Ethan appeared behind Richard, silent, eyes wide with disbelief. I didn't think. You didn't think, I said, turning slightly to him. And now you see why loyalty must be earned. Not assumed, not bought, and certainly not blind. Lisa's lips trembled. Alex, You don't have to say anything, Mom, I interrupted softly. I know your regrets. I know you watched and didn't act. I remember. But this isn't about blame. It's about results. Richard's hands clenched the railing of the staircase. You can't take everything. I worked too hard. I stepped closer, voice measured. Hard work means nothing if it's driven by arrogance and cruelty. You underestimated me, Richard. You underestimated others. And that's why you lost. Not just to me, but to reality. To the consequences of your actions. He turned away, breathing heavily, trying to grasp the collapse of everything he thought he controlled. Ethan shuffled uncomfortably beside him, avoiding eye contact, realizing the loyalty he had offered was misplaced, meaningless. Clara joined me at the doorway, her hand brushing mine. You've done more than reclaim what's yours, she said quietly. You've proven strength, resilience, and intelligence. Revenge is sweet, yes, but your growth, that's unshakable. I nodded. It's hard to feel victorious when part of me remembers the pain it took to get here. But it's necessary. Every betrayal, every sleepless night, every insult, they fueled this transformation. Not just to take what was mine, but to become someone who can't be broken again. Lisa's eyes welled up. I accept the consequences. You've earned this, Alex. And I hope someday you can forgive me. I looked at her, seeing the same woman who had hesitated, who had failed to protect me, yet who also loved me in the way she could. Forgiveness wasn't immediate. It might never come completely. But I nodded once. I'll consider it. Time will tell. Richard finally spoke, voice low, broken. I thought I could control everything. I thought I was untouchable. You're stronger than I ever imagined. Yes, I said, holding his gaze. Stronger because I survived. Stronger because I refused to be powerless. And stronger because I let preparation, patience, and strategy guide me. Not anger alone. He slumped against the railing, the weight of his humiliation settling fully. Ethan muttered under his breath. I was wrong about everything. You weren't alone, I said. I was ignored for years. I understand mistakes happen. But understanding comes too late if it's not paired with action. I turned to Clara and she smiled faintly. Are you ready? She asked. I nodded. Yes, this is it. I've taken what was mine. But it's not just about possessions or power. It's about proving to myself that betrayal, no matter how deep, can be overcome. That self-transformation builds unshakable strength. We walked through the house together, quiet now except for the echo of our footsteps. I looked out the window, the town stretched below, familiar and small, yet no longer holding dominion over me. I felt a mix of triumph and melancholy, satisfaction and lingering pain. I never imagined we'd reach this point, Clara said softly. From nothing to this. It's almost surreal. Almost, I said, leaning against the window, but real. Every lesson, every struggle, it led here. And now we start again. On our terms. She touched my arm lightly. Do you feel complete? I paused, thinking of the nights I slept on cold streets, the humiliation, the anger, the quiet plotting. Not entirely. Some scars remain. But I feel prepared. Strong. Unshakable. And maybe someday I'll find peace with forgiveness. But for now, I've reclaimed my life. And that is enough. Clara nodded, understanding. We stood together in silence, the snow falling softly outside, blanketing the past and the town in quiet white. I had taken everything, company, home, respect. But more importantly, I had reclaimed myself. And as I looked back one last time at Richard and Lisa, I whispered to myself, justice isn't always loud. Sometimes it's quiet, patient, and it's undeniable. I turned toward the future, Clara at my side, heart steady. Betrayal had shaped me, but self-transformation had defined me. And now I was unstoppable.